Morning, good morning. This is just a quickie from me, hey, in response to an article that my dear friend Ben Johnson sent me about the rate of caesareans being on the increase because the human head has grown too big for the maternal pelvis, which has been reported on BBC News. Well, that's an interesting way to look at statistics, isn't it? You know what? I'm not even going to slate it. I'm just going to ask you to think beyond causal and correlational factors and what is what. And what's interesting is it's a theoreticist, a theoretical biologist who is theorising about all of this, which just about sums it up. Okay, let's just talk about Bruce Lipton for a second, the biology of belief. Our beliefs shape our biology, they affect our biology. Yes, it is true that caesareans are saving lives where before mother and baby would have died, but actually when you look at someone like Ina May Gaskin's statistics, and she's got many thousands of women to draw from, her caesarean rate is something like 0.1 in 1,000, 1 in 1,000 or 0.1 in 1,000. So we have to look beyond what we're being told. First factor I'm going to say is there's been a massive increase of women giving birth in hospitals. You put a woman in a hospital on a bed and you narrow the size of her pelvis in an instant. Instead of her standing, squatting, leaning forward, moving her body as she wants to, she's now restricted, and there's going to need to be some help to get the baby out, either by ventouse, forceps or caesarean in many more cases. Another factor is the fact that caesareans are considered to be less risky than natural birth in certain countries and certain communities. So I work a lot in Greece, okay, and unofficially they have a caesarean rate there of something like 70 to 80%. It's ridiculous. Women think that they have to have a caesarean because their uterus is too thin, their pelvis is too small, the baby's not in an optimal position. The doctors have a lot of fear of litigation. They don't get sued for the caesareans they do, they get sued for the caesareans they don't do. And this is what was happening in America for a really long time as well. So let's move on to the solution. Basically, you can increase the inner circumference of a woman's pelvis by nearly 30% by adopting positions where she can optimise the space to increase the inlet space so the head can get further in, and to increase the outlet space. So that's what we do with Birthlight. That's what I'm really proud to say I do, and I teach yoga teachers and maternity professionals all these little tricks of the trade that really support us to minimise interventions, including caesareans. The other thing I wanted to say on the subject is fear holds babies up. We have huge amount of fear going on with birth because it's just moved from one generation to another. It's in our genes. And what I am worried about is that if more and more babies are born by caesarean, then those babies have the belief that they can only be born through caesarean, therefore their babies will be born by caesarean. So this is a big factor to consider. What else is there? Hospitals. Well, I can see doctors of the future having a new role. Instead of needing to use instruments and surgery to get babies out, they will be using these positive intervention methods, which will support them to help a woman to feel really safe and well and cared for, and also to help her baby adopt an optimal position for birth. And so that is going to be what is going to help us to move beyond this caesarean culture, because it is really destructive. It's not helpful. It's not because of the increase in the circumference of the baby's head. Final point on this, though, is the fact that we are all recovering from post-World War trauma. Okay, World War I, World War II, they affected all of the developing world and other countries too. And I know that's in our genes, I can feel it. And we only started to move into hospitals after the Second World War. So birth started to move into hospitals the 1950s, late 1940s. And this is when we started to complicate things. So we need to look at these factors. There's so much more than the head size. But another factor that is surrounding the issue around the war thing is around sugar. Like from rationing, we ended up then having this huge openness to eating as much sugar as we want, and the sugar boom, which is contributing to gestational diabetes, it is contributing to bigger babies that aren't bigger babies because they're healthy, and it is affecting also the health and well-being of women. So women, stop eating sugar. It's really not good for you. Minimise it. Get off the chair, start getting down on the floor and increasing the flexibility in your hips. Your iliopsoas wants to release, so let your emotions out. out, and believe that your baby is made to measure, because it is made to measure. Your baby is made to measure through your body. Believe it. Know that your nature is really clever and it takes the best of you and your partner, and it is going to help you to have your baby naturally. The only way out is through. Baby spiral through the pelvis. Yes, you can do it. Yes, you can. Got nothing to do with the size of your baby's head. They mould. Okay? Let's just demystify that one. Thank you.